Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you, and this is the next part in my review of the new Tau codex. So today I'm going to cover the elites. You'll see in the description below a link of all the other videos as they go up. You'll be able to jump on them if you're interested in a particular section. But what we're going to cover today is look at the elites, and one of the most exciting sections of the Tau army in my opinion. So as I scan through, let's see what we can find. Right, so elites start with the stealth suits. So stealth suits not changed, exactly the same. Not really much to cover on them. They're still 90 points. Still got all the same special rules. Some people love them, some people hate them. People really wanted them to get a bit tougher. They would have liked them to have a second wound, but they haven't. They've stayed the same. So there is now a way of making them much more viable in one of the formations, but you'll have to wait for the formations video to see all about that. But for now, stealth suits, pretty good. The fusion's always nice, the infiltrate's nice, but you generally don't see them very much. And I think that will continue unless they're in the formation. So that's stealth suits. Going on to crisis suits, we now have swanky new models for crisis suits, which is cool. And I'll also at the same time cover bodyguards, because they are now sit in elites as well, which is interesting. So they do actually take up a false slot, which is very interesting. So the crisis battlesuits themselves, still 22 points a model, still more or less exactly the same, with one big difference, which could actually be a bit game breaking or game changing, let's go with. So you can choose your weapons for your crisis suits as always, and your drones and your support systems. One of the big things though, when you choose the weapons, there were two weapons that before were experimental weapons, and now they are just there for any suit to use. And those are, let me get the wording right because I'm still learning, are the Citric Iron Blaster and the Air Bursting Fragment Projector, easy to say for some. So both those two are 15 points, but they got some juicy rules. So let's go with, first of all, so the air bursting frag whatever is 18-inch, strength 4, AP 5, assault 1, barrage, ignores cover, large blast. Now bear in mind, before you could only have one of these per army. You can now have two per model, which is pretty insane. Just imagine that, you know, that is awesome crowd control. That ignores cover and be an AP5. Wow, I'll tell you what, that is going to make mince of a lot of units chaff, a lot of armies chaff. And the Citric Iron Blaster, that's pretty sweet as well. So that is 18 inches, strength 7, AP4, assault 3. But you can also overcharge that, and that goes then to strength 8 AP4, and that is heavy 1, blast, gets hot. So again, you looking at like 2 blasts a turn, strength 8, yeah, it gets hot, but you know, they've got a pretty reliable cover save, so that's pretty juicy. That I can see that being very powerful and a real game changer. Slight issue with the fact they're pretty hard modelled to get hold of, because I don't think you get very many of them in the kit. So I think there's definitely going to be some third party weapons coming out. Watch this space. But I think that's probably the way that you're going to start to see a lot of the crisis suits kitted out. They don't have the range of the missiles, so your missile suits are still going to have a place, and obviously they don't pack the punch of a fusion or plasma. But I tell you what, I think that's a solid choice. So we'll see how we go. Bodyguards, again, exactly the same. You get they're 32 points a model, so slightly better stats. They're basically the stats of the sort of upgrade on a standard battle suit. They've got the Swarm Protector special rule, so they're great for, you know, just soaking up wounds for your commanders if that's the way you run them. Obviously they're generally a solid unit. You can take the signature units, you can take the signature upgrades with both of them. Let's have a quick look at the signature suits. So you can still just have one a game, and you're looking pretty much the same again. So no real difference to the signature suits. Still, generally, you're going to see them sitting on your buff commander, but we'll cover that in a different video. So going on, so we now have the exciting new Ghost Kill. So the Ghost Kill, absolutely stunning model. One of my most favourite looking suits. Really love the look of that guy. And he's got loads of juicy rules. So he's 130 points. And I could do a whole video on him on his own, so I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. He's still a monstrous creature. He's a little bit like a small Riptide, I suppose, and his stats kind of reflect that. So he has 4 wounds, so a little bit less wounds. He's still got strength 6, but he's only got toughness 5, and he only has a 3+ save. The thing that's really juicy about him is he's got some really nice rules. So basically, if he has his drones, and it's quite complicated, but in essence, if he has at least one drone, he basically doubles up his cover save to a 2-up cover save in the open. So he's basically got a 2-up cover standard as long as he's got a drone, which is pretty nice. He's got a 3-up save normally, armor save, but he's also got a really cool rule where once a game, after a unit targets him for shooting, he can then make them snap fire. So it's kind of almost like a mirror effect, which kind of dazzles them, which means they've got a snap fire. It's only a 1 use only, so in some ways, you know, it's not as quite good as like the special Necron thing that affects a whole shooting turn. But this you can nominate after as they shoot at you, which is quite good because it means that you can potentially take away that really powerful, maybe ignores cover weapon once a turn that's going to kill him off, or one turn that's going to kill him off, not once a turn. He's got a couple of nice weapons. So he's got like it's a bigger version of the Citric Blaster that I just spoke about, but it's called the Citric Ion Raker. And it has 2 profiles, as all of the Citric weapons generally do. It's 24 inch, so relatively short range, strength 7, AP 4, assault 6. Or you can overcharge it and you get a strength 8, AP 4, heavy 1, large blast gets hot. So you can see it mirrors the smaller version basically, but with a little bit more potency. Or the other weapon he can have is let's find what it's called. It's called a Fusion Collider, and this is the one that I think there's more value in, if I'm honest. The Fusion Collider is the standard fusion range, 18 inches. It is strength 8, AP 1, standard fusion. It's salt 1, but it's blast, which is quite nice. So, you know, you can scare some Terminators with that. Still going to be great for your vehicle popping, and because of his lower ballistic skill, a standard Tau, because it's a blast, it means that potentially you don't have to depend maybe so much on the marker lights, which I quite like. He also has shoulder mounted or arm mounted, however you want to do it, either burst cannon, flamer, or fusion. Let me just see, double check that. I'm pretty sure it's a flamer you get as well. Yeah, so flamer, burst cannon, or fusion. For me, again, fusion, I just like the potency of the fusion, so twin link fusion, very tasty. But all in all, I think it's a really good unit. He's only 130 points, which I think is awesome. He can still take support systems. Yeah, really cool. Doesn't have infiltrate, which I think is a big shame, because I think with infiltrate it would make him incredible, but it's a shame he hasn't got that, but never mind. Right, now let's go on to the Riptide, the favourite of 6th edition, our old favourite. You can't go wrong with a Riptide, do love it. 180 points, hasn't changed in points, hasn't changed with anything apart from one thing, and that is now you can take them in units of 3. So that's cool, particularly in big games. That's really, really good. I tend to think in small games it's probably not going to factor too much, because generally most people, if you've got the points to have 3 of them, you've probably not got much points to put a lot more points into your elites. Maybe you're taking formations as well, and actually for me there's a lot of value in having separate units because it gives you more variety of targets. So I can't seem to see much benefit in having a unit of 3, but those of you out there might disagree and think it sounds the best thing ever. I think for big games it has its bonuses, but for me, for small games, not so much. But still great unit, 2+ saves, awesome, nice toughness 6, 5 wounds, monstrous creature, can't really go wrong, kicking out loads of hurt. Still think Ion's the way to go, 100% stick with the Ion, unless you're taking in a Farsight, and that's another story altogether. So there's your Riptide. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that covers all of the elite slots. So some really good choices. I think the Ghost Kill is definitely going to factor in a lot of lists now, particularly in the formation. I think he's going to be a really fun unit. 3 of these, which means 3 times shooting is going to be snap firing. The 2-up cover is really cool. So I like him. I think he's going to be a solid choice. Other than that, that's elites. Hope you've enjoyed that. Please stay tuned for the next video when we will cover fast attack. But until the next video, please do like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.